the Sunday morning before kids got there, we actually had a huge downpour. So I was like, I don't know about this because this is going to get really humid in about 4 hours. But we had a great time. Good turnout. The kids were excellent. Great campers. So yeah, it's a good time.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, let's jump into Market Watch.
All right. So what we like to do at this point is take a look at what is happening in Dallas County over the last 7 days and compare it to the week before. And just as a upfront disclaimer, we're actually comparing a very slow month because it is a holiday weekend to a previous very busy week. So numbers look really crazy.
Yeah. Coming soons were down 17% to 71. That is the first status in MLS that you agents can choose to put a property in. They sometimes make them active right away. The new active listings were down 4% to 438 in the last week in Dallas County. And option period is kind of the first status that properties go through when they're under contract. And that was down 11% with 318.
Yep. And so as the contract progresses and everything has been agreed upon in the option period, our next status is going to be the pending status. That's actually down 26% to 112. And then we moved into the solds, and that was actually down 15%, which is down to 276 units. So we also like to talk about mortgage rates, and mortgage rates again are doing a little bit of a jog north. This is according to Optimal Blue, and they are now resting at 7%. It'll be interesting to see what happens as the Fed continues to adjust their rates and how that will affect us. A lot of times, as we've learned from Jeremy in past episodes, that lenders get ahead of this and go ahead and bake that into the rates. So you may not see an adjustment at rates when Fed makes theirs.
True.
So I have a quick question for you, Jeff. If based on the sold data over the last 7 days, tell me what you think that the close price to list price percentage was. Was it 90, 98, 100%?
I'm going to say 90, probably 98%.
So it's actually 100%. So
Oh,
which is
really?
really interesting is that prices are still staying in the norm, which is what they're asking for. Also, the median days on market was actually 11 days. So still a very healthy market.
You know, we have netted over 100,000 people a year for the last 5 years into the DFW Metroplex, and every one of those people needs a place to live. And many we have a lot of new apartments. Gosh, we probably had, I don't know, 300,000 new apartments come up in the last year and a half. But people want houses.
They do.
People want something to own. They want something to live in.
And I think we're seeing more of the generation that hasn't bought a house, that has been delayed by COVID or been delayed because of cost, now really entering that phase in their life where they have to have a house. I will say what I feel like, and you tell me what you think, but I think what's different versus last summer is that last summer there was zero discretion. Like it did not matter. We were going to buy it. We were going to buy it in hours. We were going to buy it for more than the list, and we were waiving everything. And I feel like that can still happen this year, but that it has to be the right property. It has to check all the boxes, not two other boxes. All the boxes.
It's got to be, I think, one end of the spectrum or the other. Either it's a full renovation job, or it is something that is done to the nines.
Yeah, and here's the funniest thing is that Dallas is really unique because you would think that houses that are smaller but really well done don't move as fast. That's not the case in Dallas. Dallas really wants those houses turnkey. I've always said it. Dallas buyers prefer happy hour over Home Depot.
Every time.
Just what we do over here.
So let's jump into our house this week.
Golly, this is amazing. So this is 202 South Shore Drive down in Beckley Club, which is in Cliff. Tiniest little neighborhood. We sold a house back in here years and years ago. Great neighborhood. They have done such a good job of taking care of it when we went and previewed this house. There are peacocks, wild peacocks throughout this entire neighborhood.
Yeah, and it is so very, very close to the Dallas Zoo. Location-wise, it's fantastic. I mean, you are minutes and you're on I-35 north or south, and within minutes you've got access to I-30, you've got access to the tollway. It's like a uber convenient neighborhood.
And the other thing too is you've got feeders that are inside of the cliff that can actually, if you need to bypass and get over to 12 and avoid everything on 30 because of accident or whatnot, that's easy to do. Plus now with the Calatrava Bridge, the big problem of getting in and out of the cliff doesn't exist anymore.
I agree.
So this is a really great neighborhood. If you're not from Dallas and you're like, I really want to move here, but I need something more Austin-ish, this neighborhood is your go-to, hands down.
It really is, and it is a tight-knit neighborhood too. I mean, the people that live there know all the people that live there, and they want to keep don't make Beckley Club weird.
Yeah,
keep Beckley Club weird. That's what
that is a perfect example. And they're also a really great area for biking. And so one of the areas over here that we want to talk about is the Oak Cliff Bike Synergy. This is a great, we've actually featured them once before because they're so great, because biking is such a big deal in the cliff.
It is. And this is a family-owned bike repair shop. They also sell bicycles. They offer a really great service from what I've read. I've not used them myself, but it's like the epitome of Oak Cliff to have the family-owned business. And
that is exactly the right words. It is the epitome. But so it's just got that nice vibe to it. And I don't want to say hipster because I don't want someone to turn their nose up to it, but it's just got the right familia to it. So one of the other things too that we like to point out over here is getting around. How do you get around? How do we get mass transit? Because so many people that are moving to Dallas really want to have access to public transportation. One of the great things that happened, I think it was during Obama, that they had some funding that actually allowed them to bring in the rail line. And it's a smaller rail line. It's only 1.6 miles. And it actually brings from Union Station in downtown all the way up to, is it
Bishop Arts?
Bishop Arts.
Yeah, there are several stops along the way. There's a stop at Greenbrier, which is the end of Greenbrier, right where it crosses, Sylvan. Anyway, but there are 4 stops on it before it gets down to Bishop Arts.
And the great thing about this is Union Station also connects with the trolley into Uptown. So you can actually work your way from Uptown all the way through Bishop Art District and do just like an afternoon meandering and really get a flavor for what happens out there.
The third place we wanted to talk about that's nearby is the Oak Cliff Nature Preserve. And this is a 121-acre park. They've got over 8 miles of hike and bike trails. I have been to this myself. I've ridden bikes down it. It is absolutely beautiful.
So when people say there's nothing to do in Dallas, there's nothing to do outside, those are really people that you should challenge them, because there is a lot of trails, a lot of trails coming up, and there are some really great outdoor spaces. This is an excellent map. Thank you, Zach, for pulling this one up. It shows people everything that you can do, and it gives you the, I believe, the difficulty level and also the link, so you know what you're in store for. So
that's a great park.
It is. So without further ado, let's jump in and look at 202 South Shore Drive. So this is an amazing house. It is a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, just over 2,000 square feet, priced at $595,000.
So the curb appeal is like at 110% on this house.
You've got to see this house. If you want to see it, let us know, because it is beyond amazing. They added this porch on, Jeff. It is. You'd never know it.
You would not. And you know, I've usually got a pretty good eye about for looking at houses and figuring out where things have been added on. Nope, these people did it right.
They did an excellent job in the way that they actually grabbed that space at the entry right there to include that. This is the house of cocktails, and I want to say this right here is where we have a really great cup of coffee and look out, or we have a really great meal and have great wine.
And this is the living room, which what did you call it earlier?
This is where happy hour starts.
This is where happy hour starts. Really, they're not afraid of using paint, and they are very good with choosing not just the color, but the tone and the finish on it.
They did an excellent job, and what's one of the most amazing things is one of the owners actually specializes in kitchen organization and kitchen design. And this house, you have got to see it. This paint color, the way that they did the windows, the cabinets. This is actually granite, but they actually chose to use the honed version of it. So it's actually harder than if you use a soapstone. Undermount lighting, it is perfect the way that it's laid out.
And this is where happy hour takes off, or after happy hour takes off. It's a bar.
This is where we go karaoke, and we turn the mirror ball on, and we have the bar there, and we just go Korean karaoke in this room. I absolutely loved it. Jeff said, just wait till you see this room.
And this is the half bath that is right off of that, which is perfectly placed. I mean, when you have guests, you don't want them to have to go upstairs to your bathroom. That is the perfect location for it.
So let's, as we're going to go up the stairs, I just want to point out right above our heads, great riser and rug. And this is a really interesting way. They have reconfigured this to a 2-bedroom in order to give the master a really great closet and a bathroom.
This is the master bedroom. As you can see, there's fireplace. Windows are just, you look out into all this green that just kind of floods into the room. This is to kind of show you how big that master bedroom is, because that's got the desk in it also.
I know. I was really surprised. I pointed out how large this was. Great configuration to both get a tub and a shower. And you're not going to see it here, but I was laughing with Bill and I said, I love this bathroom because it has a door over the toilet and making it private, because a lot of times we lose that ability in smaller spaces, but not here. We're not going to be able to go all the way in, but that is, I hope I don't insult them by saying it's California closet, because it is the nines for that closet.
Done super well. This is the guest room. And again, you're up on the second floor, so you've got that really great exposure to a lot of the treetops. And then this is the guest bath. I mean, it's beautiful.
It is. And they actually used furniture as the cabinet that the sink sat on.
And as you step out into the backyard, you're looking into the kitchen right there, so you can see they've got an outdoor eating area there. These people have done such a fantastic job with this backyard.
So we've got turf grass, we've got a sports tub that is actually heated, that has a water feature, that connects to the cabana, that has a covering and a water feature.
And a
also
fireplace.
A deck around it. I was like, what is there left? I was like, why would they leave? And then I realized that they don't have any more projects, so why not?
And that property beyond the fence is also part of this property. A big storage building there, and then the other is a garden building, a greenhouse.
There we go. This is a shed, easily used. I would actually take and convert this into a chicken coop. I think it would be perfect. And then I'd also do a little studio back here. So this is 202 South Shore Drive. It's a 2-bedroom, 2.5 bath, built in 41, just over 2,000 square feet. Comes in at $595 a square foot, or $595,000, which is $294.85 a square foot.
Such a great house. And we want to say thank you to Bill Farrell for letting us talk about his home today. If you would like to see any of the other pictures that we didn't get to, there's a link below that you can do. If you'd like to see the home, give us a shout. We'll make that happen.
And with that, we'll be right back.
Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pew, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi everybody, welcome to the second segment, episode 234 of Sold with Updike Pew. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh. Today we thought we'd talk about Dallas's most walkable neighborhoods. And I think it's so important because a lot of the big cities that are out and about in the United States, one of the big things is they talk about how walkable they are. And because Texas is known for car ownership, I thought we needed to get out there and tell everybody there are neighborhoods you can walk in. I think it's important.
I totally agree. I mean, it's just, Dallas people don't walk anywhere.
No, and it's so funny because we were at an office, a company-wide office meeting, and they had someone from the chamber talk, and we were talking about when are we going to get east-west better lines, and he said, y'all are like me. You like your cars too much. And I was like, ah, he's right. But we do need tunnels or something with some different colored lines under the city. But that's for another topic.
Our first walkable neighborhood is Uptown.
Uptown is a great area. This one actually scores 97% and probably contains close to like 90% of the walkable neighborhoods. Maybe not that high anymore, but it used to for sure maintain 90% of the walkable neighborhoods.
And this makes up with, it's made up of lots of little sub-neighborhoods within. You've got West Village, you've got State Thomas, which is a historic district.
Yep.
You are Oaklawn adjacent. You are Knox Park adjacent, which takes you up to Knox Henderson. And they're a really good pickleball courts right there in Knox Park.
Yes, there are, and I know all about them. I got to get in line for those. And you know, the interesting thing too is because Oaklawn and Knox Henderson actually grew because of the Uptown area. Mm-hmm. They probably wouldn't have sprouted out at the rate that they did. One of the great things that is through here is there is lots of commuter lines with the Dart, orange, blue, red. Trolley. And then you also have the Katy Trail that goes through here, which serves as a great feeder for both exercise, but also for walking up and down for American Airlines Center all the way to Knox.
Who's the old Dallas Cowboy quarterback? Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman runs up and down the Knox, or up and down the Katy Trail.
Yep, he does. So the other neighborhood that is really seen a huge change over the last few years is Lower Greenville. When I first moved to Dallas, Lower Greenville was not the place to be hanging out at. And things have changed so much. Trader Joe's came in, they reconstructed the streets, they made parking different, everything slowed down. And I think that slowing down and that study that they did really allowed a walkable neighborhood to really come back and take hold.
I agree, and there are tons of restaurants down there. There are a lot of dedicated bike lanes coming in and out of Lowest Greenville. You know, there's Greenville Avenue, which is like north of Northwest Highway. That's Greenville Avenue. And then there's Lower Greenville Avenue, which is south of Northwest Highway, that comes down to about where Bluefish is.
Okay.
And then Lowest Greenville.
Lowest.
Is this lowest part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
And one of the interesting things is this is actually in the middle of a lot of residential neighborhoods like M Streets, Vickery Park, Bryan Place, Junius Heights. All of these neighborhoods really have begun to feed into this area. It has a 70% walkable score, so it's really great from that. It's really funny too, is this is a natural migration as people, dare I say it, age out of Uptown. One of the first neighborhoods they usually head to is going to be around the Lower Greenville area.
The third area that we wanted to talk about is the Bishop Arts District, and this is a really, really incredible district in Oak Cliff that has, taken off so much in the last 15 years. It's crazy. There are Dart Rail line goes right down there into that. We talked about this area earlier. There's a lot of mom and pop type shops there. There are a lot of really great restaurants. It is as close to an Austin style neighborhood as you can get.
And it was actually started, I don't want to say started, but one of the processes began when Paul Kirkpatrick and his partner Mark opened Bishop Art Market. And they opened it like 35 years ago, and they recently sold it probably 10 years ago because it was before COVID and moved to Puerto Vallarta. But it became one of the cornerstones, and then across the street from them was where Hattie's used to be. And now Hattie's is 8 Club, wonderful French Indian cuisine. You've got to try that out.
I haven't eaten there yet.
And then the other big restaurant that really came in and helped solidify that neighborhood was Eno's. Remember, Eno's was like one of the big, oh my gosh, we got an Eno's. It's a one-off. It's amazing craft beer, great pizza. And it just, this effect just started rolling through, and now you wouldn't even recognize it. So desirable to get out there.
So we have a couple of neighborhoods that are kind of honorable mention lists. The first one is Legacy West. Now, Legacy West is at Legacy and the Tollway on the west side, and it is kind of like the Rodeo Drive of Dallas. I'm serious.
It is so funny, and I really think that Legacy West owes a lot, if not all, to Jerry Jones and the Star.
Totally.
I think that they single-handedly have siphoned off a huge portion of what used to relocate into downtown Dallas in our area, and now have really gone up there. And it is an amazing place. The only reason why this is not on the list and is an honorable mention is because you really have to drive to get to it.
Yeah.
The others you can walk to.
Yeah.
This one is surrounded by highways. It really doesn't make sense. The last one that we want to talk about is up and coming. And I may get egg on my face about this one because this is so up and coming that there's nothing up. This is actually Midtown, and Midtown is actually going to be...
It all just went down.
Yeah.
They finally got it all down.
We'll see. Exactly. So this is Old Valley View Mall, and this is actually right beside the Galleria at 635. I think it's at... Montfort, exactly. So if you're in that area, this is actually one they are thinking going to be the center of Dallas. And that's why they're calling it Midtown.
It's kind of interesting that they've named this Midtown while we already had our Uptown that's going to be
Zach shaking his head like, I don't get it.
I don't. Anyway, it will be an amazing project when it is done. It may be 5 years from now, it may be 10 years from now, but it's really going to be an amazing development.
When you go to their site, it looks like they think, and I don't think it's possible now, but that some portion of the World Cup was going to be played there. And I do not think that when they initially were trying to come out of the ground, that they were advertising like they were going to be hosting something. And I don't think it, because they also did a huge, I don't know, study group or brainstorm group to try to come up with a new name. And they came up with this weird name. It didn't work. And so they went back to Midtown. So I kind of am like, making these my disclaimers that in case it doesn't work, I kind of thought there might be something. But if it does, I was the first one to give it the thumbs up. Hey, like them apples.
Anyway, we hope you found that helpful, entertaining, whatever it was. We hope you found something in it. If there are any other neighborhoods that you'd like information about, reach out to us. We would be happy to make that happen.
And just remember, we want to be a Realtors for Life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be Realtors for Life.